This is the new
Yes.
feature from co-writer and director Brady Corbet. He's had the most extraordinary career. Behind the camera, feature credits include Child of a Leader and Vox Lux, but first rose to prominence as an actor with roles in Lars von Trier's Melancholia, Michael Haneke's English language remake of Funny Games, and, of course, most importantly, the 2004 Thunderbirds movie in which he was Alan Tracy. So he has really walked the full length of the counter.
Actually, now, yes, I remember that, and yes, he does look like Alan Tracy. Of course, he does.
It's just like, wow. So this won Silver Lion Best Director when it premiered at Venice, Best Actor Director Motion Picture Drama at the Globes. This is currently, I've just checked before I'm doing this review, it is currently favourite to win Best Picture at the Oscars, which is remarkable considering it's a 3.5-hour epic, albeit with a built-in intermission about architecture, broken into chapters entitled The Enigma of Arrival, The Hardcore of Beauty, and the First Architecture Biennale, which does not sound like, a big popular crowd-pleasing winner. So this is co-written by Mona Fastfold, who co-wrote Childhood and Vox Lux, but directed The World to Come. That incredibly bleak tale of hard scrabble frontier existence for which you interviewed Vanessa Kirby. Do you remember this a few years ago? It's the two of them out in a house out in the frontier,
yes.
and it's very, very grim. This also has a certain amount of bleakness at its core. Adrian Brody, who won an Oscar for The Piano, is Bookie's favourite to win again, although he has got strong competition from Timothée Chalamet. He plays László, who's a Hungarian Jewish architect, survivor of the Holocaust, who emigrates to America after the war. In his home, he was known as a great architect and, trained in the Bauhaus. Here, he's just another immigrant. He stays with his cousin, who runs an interior design and furniture business, and who lands a commission from the son of a very wealthy industrialist, played by Guy Pearce, to renovate this library. He says, it'll be a surprise for my dad. He doesn't know about it. So László's got these grand ideas for the renovation, and he completely redesigns the library, which is meant to be a surprise. But then when Guy Pearce's character comes back and finds out what he's done, he's furious and he throws them out. Years later, László is now a heroin addict. He's living in charity housing. But it turns out that his library renovation has become the talk of the town. And he is tracked down, and he meets again with Harrison Lee Van Buren, the guy for whom he did it, who asks him to design a new community centre in honour of his late mother. So he says yes, and immediately they set about trying to get his wife, Esbeth, played by Felicity Jones, and his orphan niece, Sophia, played by Refi Cassidy, to America as he begins work on the project. But relations between him and Harrison are strained because changes start getting made to his design. Gradually, things start to unravel. Now, Corbet has described The Brutalist as, this is a quote, he said, a film which celebrates the triumphs of the most daring and accomplished visionaries, our ancestors. And the project, he said, that is closest to his heart and family history. And whilst you're watching it, it is very tempting to think this must be based on a real story, because it kind of has that feel to it, although it is a work of fiction. On the one hand, there is an element of The Fountainhead in it, the Ayn Rand novel, which was filmed in late 40s with Gary Cooper as an architect who would rather destroy a building than accept that changes have been made to his design. And it's a very, very famous book and a famous film adaptation. On the other hand, there's an element of Once Upon a Time in America, because it is an epic tale of immigration, of people being in America where dreams are meant to flourish, but actually the American way of life has a strange effect on them. And this is shot by Corbet's regular DP, Lol Crawley. This shot in VistaVision. The way VistaVision works is it's 35mm stock, but you shoot horizontally, and then you anyway, complicated process, but it means that it's got a grand feel to it, and a lot of people will be interested in which format it is that they see it in when it's projected. And Corbet said that the reason they did this was it was the best way to access the period of the film, and it's beautifully production designed. It's got great music. I read a couple of reviews of it because it premiered a while ago now. And there was one negative review which said it is an idea for a movie about ideas. And I think that phrase is interesting because I think that if that's not a criticism, it is full of ideas. exactly which idea is paramount, I think, does depend on the viewer. I mean, you could say it's about art versus capitalism. It's about anti-Semitism and Israel and Zionism. It's about love and jealousy. It's about admiration and assault. It's about the difference between patronage and patronization, and, to take the title of the film, brutalism and brutality. And it is about an America in the past, but it's also about the America of today. And as I said, there's the Oscar talk for Adrian Brody. I think Felicity Jones nearly steals the show. I mean, considering that her screen time is much less. I mean, I think her presence in the film is quite devastating. There's a thing, if you've seen the poster, one of the posters for it has a Statue of Liberty turned upside down, because when he gets off the boat, he looks up and he sees the statue. And just because of the angle of the thing, it looks like it's upside down. You could maybe read that as, it's liberty turned on its head, or, the world turned upside down. I think the most remarkable things about it, firstly, it's a very inexpensive movie. The budget for it is apparently 9.6 million. Now, I know there's been some scuttle recently about use of AI, and I haven't really followed it, and honestly, I'm not that interested. I mean, but this is a $10 million movie that's expansive and has that vision, and it's extraordinary that it got made for that much. It is long, but I confess that it did not feel long to me. I don't know that all of it works, but certainly there is enough going on that, I mean, you spend a lot of the movie thinking, what is this actually about? And I think that's a debate that will rage for a long time afterwards about what you actually take away from it. But I thought it was a genuinely heartfelt and really well-crafted film that managed to be full of ideas. Even, as I said, that negative review saying it's an idea of a movie about ideas. I think it is a movie of ideas. And I think that he's found a way of telling this story. I think it's his most accomplished feature. And I really liked it. Did you like it, Simon?
I kind of liked it. I didn't like it as much as you did, because I don't think it earned its running time.
Okay.
And I think it would have been, and 220 would have been fine.
Okay.
And that's quite a long film, but I did think it will feel very timely, because it is a film about immigration, and it is a film about the other, and a film about what people from over there bring to over here.
Yes.
And how we kind of get on or don't. And so that opening sequence which is sort of at the end of the Second World War and the arrival into America, feels, particularly with what's been going on the last couple of weeks, it just feels an incredibly timely film. And I agree with you about Felicity Jones and Guy Pearce particularly. I thought they were very good. I just felt that very few stories need to be told over that amount of time.
Okay. I think it's interesting that, that for you, that thing, the timeliness, particularly, this is the week that it's coming out. This happens to be the week of the inauguration, and obviously all these executive orders that have been signed already. I think that what's really fascinating is, if you see this film in a year's time, it may look like it's about other things as well. And I think that's what's remarkable, is that I think it's got a kind of kaleidoscopic quality. I'd be very interested to watch The Brutalist in 5 years' time and wonder what it felt like it meant then. Just to ask you, were you ever bored?
I think I was a bit, because the pace is obviously deliberately slow.
Okay.
There are a couple of moments when Adrian Brody's accent troubled me a bit, but there you go. We're nitpicking. I think it's a very good film. I just wish I think it would have been better if it had 40 minutes taken off its running time.